of energy of food of its own. It's just like a car, for example. There's no such thing as a gas station for evil people where they serve evil gas to evil cars, right? The same getaway car used for a robbery is going to get gasoline at the same gas station that good people get their gasoline from. Likewise, in creation, there's no source of evil in the world that evil can draw from. Rather, evil exists, but it has to get its nourishment from kedusha, from holiness, right? So that's why, for example, you can't make a bracha in the bathroom. And we're very specific about where we do mitzvahs and how we do mitzvahs, because when we do a mitzvah in an impure way, or do anything as a Jew in an impure way, then evil spiritually is able to nourish itself from the kedusha that we generate in the wrong place, right? That's one of the reasons why Yaakov did not want to stay by Lavan a second longer, because once the Shekhinah left ahead of him, which was evident by the anti-Semitism, that Lavan and his sons were now showing to Yaakov, he realized the Shekhinah was going, the protection that he had for 20 years while he was living there, and as a result of that, his kedusha that he was generating through his Torah and his mitzvahs and his benching and his learning and all that he was doing, and his whole family, right, generates kedusha. But living in an impure place in chutzlarts without the Shekhinah meant that they could now be young. There's a Kabbalistic concept that they could now draw spiritual energy and become replenished and even stronger. When evil is, becomes strong in the world like it is today, for example, which is evident by the fact that the Jewish people are being persecuted, where are they getting their koyach of kedusha from? It means the Jewish people are somehow generating kedusha in such a way that it's unprotected, which can only happen in chutzlarts, says the Tuva Arts, right? And the Rizal, which means that the Shekhinah has moved on, and all the kedusha we're generating is strengthening the koychas of ra, the koychas of evil. As a result of that, right, that we have to be very careful. So chumetz represents the koyach of gvura. Chumetz represents the ability, so to speak, of the koychas of tuma, the reality of spiritual impurity, to latch on to something that's holy and literally draw from it and to nurse from it and become stronger, right? So mashum she'agula sam an shalobas chus, since the geula was not in the merit of the Jewish people at that time, the adarabba, just the opposite. Ki hayu bluim v'tvuim bezuhamas v'tzechenes tumas mitzrayim harbe mi'od. I mean, just the opposite. Since the Jewish people, when Hashem found them, before Makas Dam, they were sunken in and absorbed by the Mitzrayim, which is why we had it's called Pesach, because Hashem was posech over the houses of the Jews to kill the Egyptians because of the fact that that we were shakua, we were mixed together, a tarovis of Jew and Mitzrayim as well, right? So we're so combined in the bris avos, right? But the reason for the gul is not the schus of Klai with Mitzrayim, but because of schus avos, because of the schus of our forefathers back in Mitzrayim. Hofi as a Kodesh Baruch or kedushaso lahachlish es harakulo, and Hashem, He was mofir His light. He shone His light down in Mitzrayim onto the Jewish people and onto the world at that time in order to weaken the koyches of Tuma, not in our merit. We didn't deserve that, really, in our own merit. Rather, Hashem should just let us disappear completely spiritually. He won't do that because He promised Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov that would never happen. But, here it's happening in their schus, and not the schus of the Jewish people Mitzrayim. Right? As a rakulo, let's see as belao mipana the akar gosh baruch as a yitzhara b'toichem is kaddish is rebel b'kitchuso yisbrach shema harbemu od. Right, but so Hashem as a matana, as a free gift, shone His light down in Mitzrayim on the Jewish people to weaken the koyches of tumah, to free the Jewish people from amongst the Mitzrayim and to take them out of Mitzrayim. Right, that all happened there. Right, at that point in time. It says b'chipazon. And we had to leave quickly. Shalom, Kadesh Shalom Yispatel Yitzhahara, like we said before, Mikol, and we had to leave quickly from Mitzrayim in order to prevent Yitzhahara from being destroyed. Kadesh says Makol Bechir, to leave room for free choice after we left Mitzrayim. Mashum Shaharei Haya Kozeh Shalom B'Schusim Klal Hanit B'Knis Klal, and because all this happened not in the merit of the Jewish people, as we already said about 10 times, right? Im Kein Harei Muvan. Therefore, it's obvious, it's understandable. Mamela ki omna rabba oynev tamid aleim linkom nekame ba'avur zemo amad. If the Jewish people had brought about the redemption through their own free will in the proper way, so that would have burned up the evil. There's no enemies around. Like it would be Yom HaMashiach. They all disappear. There's nothing to be concerned about. It's like, going to a bad neighborhood, right, where, there's murders, God forbid, and robberies and all kinds of terrible things, right? But you got to go through it somehow because you have to get out. It's the only way out is to go through it somehow, right? So what happens, basically, you get the army, the tanks, they all come to protect you because that's the only way to get through it. But you can, as long as that's taking place, all the enemies, like vultures, are standing, watching, looking on, like, is there a vulnerability? Is there a way to get to this guy somehow, to blow up the tank or to rob him in the meantime, or maybe shoot him from a distance, right? That's the way evil people work in the world. That's what it was like leaving Mitzrayim. The koiches of Ra, Hashem weakened them to free us, and He protected us, with the pillar of fire and all that. But nevertheless, they were still in the world because we didn't destroy them. Hashem kept them back as a favor to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov and their descendants. But they were still there in the world. So therefore, they were like looking, is there a way to somehow latch on to the Jewish people and steal some Kedusha and become stronger? Some shit. No, not right now. But they're there. They're watching. They're just like praying, right? Not the way it would have been had the Jewish people, through their own Bechira, brought the light into the world and destroyed the evil, as will eventually happen in Yom HaMashiach. Right? So therefore, they're looking to take revenge at any moment in time. So when every year Pesach comes around, right, and there's when the light is basically Hamis, it's like the light starts to flicker once again because it's a remembrance of the light that once. Every year Pesach time the same light comes out. Even in our generation, Leil Seder, it's the same light that the Jews used to leave Mitzrayim, right? Every year it comes out. So therefore, now that this light is coming out, Leil Seder, and we're not really in an ideal environment to take advantage of it. So therefore, we have to do the best we can in order to be able to ward off any infiltration for the koiches of Ra. And since chumetz, bloated ego, represents the avenue, so to speak, it's a way for the koiches of Ra to exist, to manifest itself in the world. The chumetz represents the manifestation of the gevuras, of the koiches of impurity in the world, which we can eat all year round because basically we're not living on the same level of spiritual purity, and also the light's not shining the way it shines on the Seder. But come the week of Pesach, it's a special gilui of this light, of this ore, right? And the result is going to be, an attempt for the Koiches Atumah to latch onto this light and to be yonik from it and to get stronger because of it, and then to destroy Kedusha and take over the world, like all the conspiracy theories bring out. That's where this is the Kabbalistic basis of that type of a reality, which Hashem never lets happen completely, but it happens somewhat. The World War II, the Holocaust, and all the pogroms is an example of how far the koiches of Ra can be yonik and take over the world until Hashem steps in and puts His foot down and stops the whole thing. But we see how powerful it is. So at least in the week of Pesach, when this light comes down, we try to clean up the environment, spiritually speaking, as much as possible, to get rid of the chumetz. And the reason why it's such a strict, Isser is because chumetz is such a dangerous thing at this time of year that to eat it, to bring it to the world, to not get rid of it from the Jewish camp, is to invite the koiches of Tumah into the reality of this fantastically high spiritual level and to become stronger because of it again, right? That's what he says, right? Even a little bit, even a small amount. We have this issue from the Torah of not even seeing it and not even finding it anywhere. Because chametz spiritually, kabbalistically flows from the reality of gvuras chazakim, strong gvuras, strong, tzimtzum, constriction of God's light. Right, shehem shorish la ra, which is a shorish of ra, because in order for evil to exist, you have to constrict the light of God. The koich of gvura, the spheres,